Live from Hollywood, it is a Dancing with the Stars recap. We are here to break down all things from the Dancing with the Stars season 33 premiere. Of course, I am Matt Liguori. I'm here with two very special people today to talk through everything we saw from that Dancing with the Stars premiere. First, you know her from the Mess Magnets and various other projects all across RHAP. It's Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how's it going?
I'm good, a stiff cha-cha, and I've made it. Okay, I've made it. You pulled me back into Dancing with the Stars. Look at us.
I love it. And of course, as well with us here tonight, it is from Survivor 45, Brandon Donlon. Brandon, what's up?
Oh my God. I am going to be like Reginald VelJohnson in this podcast where I'm not going to move the entire time. And I'm just going to sit and talk with both of you. And I'm thrilled about it. This is my literal favorite show. You think that you've heard me talk about my favorite show. Trust me, you haven't. It's this one. And I'm thrilled about it.
That's why we're here, because there's a lot of love out there for Dancing with the Stars. Of course, it used to get covered over here on RHAP. Back a couple of moons ago, Mike and Angela Bloom did a great job recapping the show, and any of us that were there through that, we've been missing it, and we have this chance here to get back in here talking about Dancing with the Stars for one night only.
Yes.
As of now.
One night premiere.
That's the plan. One night only. We're here. We were given the okay to talk about the premiere, but just to be clear, that is the current plan, just to talk about the premiere and not the entire season. If you all are out there and enjoy what we do today, if we do a decent job and you want more, you got to be vocal about it. You know how we got like America sent to the moon and whatnot? We got to get us sent to the moon as well if we want a second episode. So that's the plan, but we're going to have some fun. Brandon, you especially, again, big Dancing with the Stars fan your whole life, as far as I'm aware.
The biggest. I love this show. I don't dance. I have never danced. I also make it clear I'm going to critique dancing. I can't do better. I want everybody to know that. I'm telling you now, I cannot do better. This is like people give like the Survivor commentary and then they're there and they're not good, whatever. Like this is what I'm doing. I don't put me on this show. This would be bad, but I love talking about it. I love watching from my couch or my bed and being like, that's not good. I can't do any of this. But I love this show because I have always loved seeing people out of their element and excel at something new. Like I loved seeing like your random comedian or your random race car driver or something get in here, a thing they've never done and then excel at. I think that's like a cool thing. And then I also love celebrities. I love pop culture. So every year I get a new crop of people to watch and talk about. And we've got 13 new people to do exactly that. So we are thrilled.
And Sasha, you've got us covered with the pop culture end of things, I hope, because the way that I experience the show is by meeting these people on Dancing with the Stars 9 out of 10 times.
Wild. I am very much so. I watched Dancing with the Stars from its inception. Funny enough, my family, I feel like, really got me onto every show imaginable because I watched Grey's Anatomy season 1, episode 1, Desperate Housewives, all of these ABC shows. I feel like I've been there. And then I definitely fell off. I think part of it was when I moved to the West Coast and I felt like I couldn't vote. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I said, no vote, no taxation without representation. So you know what? I don't care to watch. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I fell off somewhere. And then Nelly, I think, brought me back. When I was like, Nelly's on Dancing with the Stars. I'm back, baby. I watched this season. And then now I'm here again. Because you told me I needed to watch it. And listen, Phaedra's on. Phaedra's on. I'm here. She's problematic. Dwight Howard is problematic. We know there's a lady with a damn ankle monitor on. So obviously problematic. But we're here to talk about the stars. Like Carrie Ann said, whatever happens outside, we'll hold. And we're not going to maybe stand fully. But listen, I love Phaedra from season 1, episode 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And what she did was terrible. And I don't like her for it. But she's here, baby. She's here.
There's a lot of people here. We're going to get into the cast. We're going to get into everybody's performances. One thing I wanted to mention is, Sasha, you mentioned, kind of bouncing around in your time watching the show. I feel like that's everybody's experience. Mm-hmm. Brandon, you might be the exception. Have you watched every single season all the way through? Because for me, I've taken breaks. The era where they had like the athletes version, like I kind of like watched that with one eye open. I feel like we all take a break from time to time, but when it's good, this show is so good.
Yeah, I famously have no days off. I am in this
Period.
whole time. I built this city. I've been here since Evander Holyfield was on the first one.
Hmm.
I believe he was the second out, the first one. I can't remember
Look, if
that.
you weren't a child on the couch watching Sabrina Bryan get screwed twice, where were you? Who are you?
I'll never forget it. I was talking about it, I believe, in my 5th grade, and that was in 5th grade. And I went into class and I just said to my friends, like, what happened? How could
What
we let that
happened?
happen? You know, we
How do
don't
we
even
move
have
on?
phones. One of us has a Motorola Razor. That's not enough votes. We
5th grade is
can't.
crazy. I'm
Yeah,
so old.
true. I mean, look, I don't know if
I'm
I don't know if I was voting, but
Yeah,
watching.
and that's, shows like this really teach you the importance of voting. 7 weeks from now, we have a pretty big vote coming up, and you get Sabrina Bryan to leave the show if you don't vote. So that's what
period.
you won't believe this. It gets worse than that for this vote in 7 weeks if you don't vote. So I would highly suggest this is our example that we have to lead. If we vote here, then we can vote anywhere,
Yeah.
except if you're on the West
Mhm.
Coast. Sasha.
And this show, I feel like, just to like get into how we're going to be covering it. So Brandon's covered this as far as he's concerned, not coming at this with professional dance expertise. Same for me. This is a reality show first and foremost, with celebrities, with dancers that we've come to know for years and years, and some new faces. That's how the show works. A little bit of like the challenge-esque nature of just people come back and sometimes they don't, and sometimes new people show up. You get rookies, so that's a fun element of the show for me. And then again, of course, the celebrities are always new. Sometimes you get to meet people for the first time that you've heard their name, or people like, for me, like a Phaedra, I'm excited to see on this season because
Yes.
the momentum has been rolling for someone like that. But for me, coming in as a reality show person, watching one of my favorite reality shows, Sasha, do you have anything going on for the dance aspect of this? Because I think at the end of the day, yes or no, we're letting the judges do the dance criticism, and we're watching the show.
Correct. I'm also not a dancer. Just find me at your wedding and I'll be dancing there. I've been a bridesmaid like 100 times at Indian weddings. I feel like I have performed. But no, that is it. I will say, on a dance show in India, twice, maybe 3 times. And I was part of a dance troupe in India. So it was Bollywood. So I don't know. It doesn't count. I don't think I'm a good dancer. So yeah, I have very minimal, if not even. I don't even count it. So like kind of dance.
We did have a patron. I lost the comment in the name, so apologies for that. That
Yes, I
mentioned
saw that.
if you wanted any help with critiquing actual stuff that's going on with these dances, to reach out. So if we end up again having any kind of momentum here, that anybody's looking for another episode of this and things work out in that aspect, we'll look into that. But for now, again, we're looking at the we're looking at the celebrity. This is a reality show first and foremost. And I don't know, what do we want to open up talking about? Do you guys get attached at all in the way that I sometimes do to the professional dancers and invested in who does and doesn't return? Brandon?
Yeah.
I feel like, some of these people, I feel like I've known for like 10 years, 15 years. Like, I feel like, parasocial city, of course, but like I've watched people grow up. I've watched people get married. I've watched people get divorced. We're dancing still. They're not dancing obviously together. They're not married, but they're dancing alongside each other. Like, there's so much. I don't think I immerse myself in the tea, if you will, of like who's doing whatever with each other. Like, I know that Jenna and Val are obviously married. Emma and Sasha were married. They are no longer. Like, I'm sure there's more stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but I'm not in that world. But I just like seeing them. It's like I see, it's like the challenge that I don't follow, but I followed for a long time, is like you see your same people again every year. So I'm thrilled. I do not like how some pros seem to get stuck with, like, I know it's like a hazing situation where, you're newer and you get a partner who maybe isn't going to go as far. I wish they would just like random
Name names. How dare you?
But listen, I think that's I understand why they do that for sure, because you want whatever, but like you give somebody who comes in, somebody who's like even just a middle, and they go to the end and they're like now a person that is a premier pro. You can't build relationships with your pros if they're out second or third, or there was a pro, Keo, who was on for quite a while, and Keo
Where'd he go?
I don't know whether he quit or was let go or whatever, but every single season he would get like, and I say this with full respect and love, like partner who wasn't good, partner who wasn't good, partner who wasn't good, like over and over and over again. And they, got to throw him a bone every once in a while, like he got, he seemed like such a nice guy. He was a great teacher. It seemed like, so don't let me muse, but that's my thought.
Yeah, we could do a whole nother podcast about like the pairings and who gets screwed sometimes and who doesn't. Like the amount of times I've sat there and asked either out loud or in my head, like, is Emma getting the same paycheck as everybody else this season? Is like anybody who gets stuck with a partner that is not making it past 2 or 3 episodes getting the same paycheck? I would like to know. But it's funny because you have the people that used to get those partners, the Cheryl Burks, the Louis Van Amstels, the like all these people, the Editas of the world that used to get the partners that were not going to go very far, and then sometimes they got people that would go far and they would get their wins in when they could, but now that's like an Emma role, and it's funny to see the transition over time as we've, if you look at the crop of people that we have now, who's like the most veteran? Val, probably, right? Am I forgetting anybody of like the current group? It's funny how it shifts, and the pros that were there when we were all younger watching the show, if a Mark Ballas shows up out of nowhere, you're like, oh my God, Mark, and his hair's that long. But we pay attention to the new people. Brandon's got a good partner this season. Maybe he can finally make a run. Not you, Brandon. But
Brandon, Sasha, look at us.
I do have a great partner. Her name is Devin. She's upstairs, but that's not what we're talking about here. He does have a great partner, and I think that Keo, just to make a correction, I think Keo's last partner, forgive me if this wasn't his last, was Ivana Lynch, who was Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter series, and they did end up going. They did go super far.
Yeah,
so,
but he had like 4 first boots in a row or something like that.
Yes, he was. I forget. There were a couple of them. Charlotte McKinney, I know, was a model who was like so disinterested in being there. And you felt horrible for him because he's like, I mean, it is like, spoiler alert, Ezra. Feel horrible for Ezra. We will get there, but Ezra's Miss Anna Delvey's partner, Ezra. I feel bad for the guy, but we'll get there.
So notably, I wrote down we don't have PETA this season, who was on last season. We don't have Coco, who's done back-to-back seasons and is now not here. I even like looked it up a little bit to see what was going on, and she was just like, I wish everybody the best of luck this season. So I was like, sometimes when they get like not put back on the season, like Sasha will get into, was supposed to be on the troop this season and then ended up last minute jumping into the cast with Jenn. Not you, Sasha.
I know.
Well, we're all
well, I gave it to Brandon. I got to get back to you. And then notably, of course, this is the last time we'll say his name in this podcast, but Artem, ending his run here for reasons that are Googleable. So
and that's the tea, because that's crazy. And the fact that him and Nikki met on Dancing with the Stars. What the hell?
Well, Brandon was touching on that, Sasha. We talk about Big Brother having more couples than like The Bachelor. Dancing with the Stars may have Big Brother beat.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, I know, like, I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple, but Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank, he met his partner Kim Johnson, and now they are married. There's a couple of them. I'm forgetting. Obviously, Nikki Bella and her.
We may have a new one forming in this cast.
Oh, that's exactly. What about Brooks and Gleb?
That's there. It's happening. I don't know.
It's happening.
But it honestly, it's been lately at the rate of like 1 every 2 or 3 seasons that you get a legit couple formed on this show, and production knows what they are doing when they make these couples. Like, they are not made by mistake. They are obviously very intentional. They want to have, whether it's because of a romantic spark or whether it's because it's Steven and Riley, and how freaking adorable are these two together. So, they know what they're doing. Sasha, were you, I don't know exactly when your most recent break was, but were you watching the seasons lately that had the judges' saves on them?
No, I didn't. Like I said, Nelly's the only season like I feel like I've kind of even watched
in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So I can't even remember when that was, but so the judges' save, Brandon, thoughts on the judges' save and the fact that it hasn't returned in now 2 seasons, I think?
I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, American Idol did that for a while, and it just seems like for a show that like there really is no proof that it's not just total production interference. I don't want it to be thrown in my face that the production can interfere to that extent. Like, it just feels like I enjoy The Masked Singer, like, platonically. Like, I do. I follow it on Wikipedia. I just like to see who's doing it. Like celebrity shows.
I watched all the reveals.
Like, I think that's a lot of fun. I don't participate in drugs, but if I did, I would participate in drugs and then get ordered food and then watch seasons 1 to 10 of The Masked Singer, just the reveal, just seeing JoJo Siwa take her little mask off. It's super fun. I forgot your question, but I knew I had an answer for it.
I forgot my
Give me your
question too.
The saves, the judges
The
save.
Oh yeah, the
save.
judges save. Yeah, I mean the Bobby Bones rule. Is that his name? Bobby
Um,
something. Yeah. This man that just won a season off of obviously getting the most votes, even though he was by far not the best. And then all of a sudden, I think that was maybe the last season before COVID, if I'm remembering correctly. And then whatever it was, then they come back and we have this judges save where the bottom two couples are then going to have the judges decide who goes home, so that at least you have a second chance to get that person into the bottom. I do think that it was worthwhile, but now this is the second season without it. Look, last season went well. The final three was a very deserving final three. Sochi takes home the win. You had, some other great couples make it very far. So hopefully we're still good on that this season. But if we have, Carl Winslow in the finale looking to take it home, I don't
Honestly,
know. Maybe
I
we
love
bring
it
it back.
for me. I don't care.
I did vote for him. I want to be completely
Do,
transparent.
do
with
you vote always?
I am voting. I am voting early and often. I usually will pick my person and then I would just vote for that person incessantly. This season I did. I threw a vote to Reginald. I threw most of mine, again, spoiler alert, to Joey. But I threw one to Reginald. Why not?
Sasha, you ever
Reginald
vote?
needs the help.
Fair. I didn't vote because of West Coast, and I just honestly forgot. Oops, not a good Samaritan.
Look, we're all voting when it matters.
Yeah, period. Okay, I live in
One
California.
vote.
It's coming to my
fair.
house. Okay, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
But no, yeah, I will be voting for Phaedra, of course.
Yeah. I tend to not, but again, I vote when it matters. Unless like I'm really invested in someone going deep into the season, but usually like I end up liking a couple of people. And I don't know, we'll see how this one goes. I have a couple of favorites and we'll get into that. So as far as this premiere goes, no elimination. We have no elimination to talk about. I feel like they've done this a couple times lately. We don't have result shows anymore. Those have been long gone for a while now. It's one episode a week. So in order to, at least give people a chance to dance twice, even if they don't seem like some of them may want to dance twice, they'll get a chance in the second episode. And then next week, two people will go home, which, Sasha, must have something to do with the fact that Jenn was such a last minute addition to the cast. They probably had to create an extra spot, and now two people have to go home. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so. Here's the thing. One, she was added late, and I can't wait to get to her situation. And I just think it's fair that, no one goes home, because I think the last two seasons someone has gone home early if I was doing or first, sorry. So I think it's fair. So I don't care how we get to the end game. First episode, no one should be going home.
Yeah,
certainly. Yeah, last season they kicked off Matt Walsh, who is
which was so funny.
Yeah, who is a comedian for Veep, not the conservative commentator Matt Walsh. Which was when the cast came out, I was like, oh my god! But then it's the guy from Veep. He was so good. I go watch his first week performance.
Yeah, but like the story behind all of that, where he was like, I'm not actually going to come down the show, which he had a valid reason. Of course, it was the strike was going on. He didn't want to cross the line, and then he's like, you know what, I'm out. And then he's like, okay, well, because the strike ended, he was back in, and then all of a sudden he's gone right away.
Which is total producer interference. Also, that is a decision that they made. He was not bad. There were 3 or 4 people that were objectively worse.
Yeah.
That was their I'm not going to call it a slap in the face, but that was their way of saying you were going to ditch us and goodbye. Which was unfortunate because he looked like he was really excited about it. But
yeah,
on me.
So what else do we have to set up here? Of course, we're back in the ballroom competing for the Len Goodman Mirror Ball trophy. May he rest in peace, Miss Len. Every season, I honestly get a little teary-eyed as the season starts, and I remember he can't be with us anymore in person. Whitney's back this season. After one season off, she gets a whole grand welcome back, which was nice, but she was only gone one season. Ezra joins the show after being on the troupe for I don't know how many seasons, but long enough where he had so much fan support for him to join the cast itself. So he's here. And the theme tonight, Sasha, is everyone is dancing to their personal anthem that they chose themselves.
Okay. Yes. First of all, love. What is your personal anthem?
Oh, now that's funny.
To dance, so you must choose, and tell me in the chat as well.
So I feel like I've told the story on one podcast or something before. When I was in 5th grade, I think it was, we had a project of pick a song that defines your life. And when I tell you, and I told my dad I was putting this project together, and I picked Simple Plan, Welcome to My Life, because it was my favorite song. And he goes, they are going to call home. They are going to call social workers. That you cannot do that. So I ended up going with like
Come
Pink,
on,
Get the
Dad.
Party Started or something like that. That's just a story I have to share with a question like that. But I'll think more about it for present time, unless Brandon has an answer.
I mean, it's a great question. I don't know. I'm thinking of songs that when I hear them, I just want to dance. You know, it's
Yeah.
funny. Alona danced to Man, I Feel Like a Woman, which I do love that song. I
Ooh.
love That Don't Impress Me Much by Shania. When I hear that,
Ooh.
listen, I'm not going to say it, but I feel it. I feel it in my body. That's one that I'm thinking of. And there's probably more. I feel like I wish I could dance. Like, I wish I was really good. Some people are
Big time.
naturally good. You know, we'll get to people here who just like, it's a thing whether you can be as technically good and hit everything, but you have to have like a little bit more sauce, if you
Pizzazz.
will. Yeah, pizzazz, sauce. You got to have a little of the secret spice. And I know I don't have that. I maybe could technically, if I worked for months, hit stuff, but that sauce is like, you can't buy that. You can't teach that.
Can't wait for the next time I see you to see your cha-cha.
We should try. I beg people, like in Brooklyn, there's like it's called Stud Country. There's like a square dance thing that has been,
No, I'm
I think,
from
the past
Oklahoma
couple years.
now, so.
And listen, we could go. I'm dying to do it. I want to try it. But I
My
haven't
mom
wrangled
goes
the
to the
troops yet.
Y and she learns country dance. Like
I would love
legit.
that.
Yeah.
I have to fly to Oklahoma. I'll go.
Yeah, her and her like senior center ladies.
Oh, I
like,
love that.
yeah, and they were on the news and everything. So
And they would love me.
yeah,
They would love you.
million.
I would tell them that I won. They don't watch the show. That they think I have a millionaire. I have $1 million.
I always say if I could dance, if I could like perform in general, none of you would know me because I would have been, out of here years ago, off on stage, like
Look
living
at
my
him.
life. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
You're stuck
I'll keep
with
thinking about
us.
that question. What'd
Yeah,
you say?
mine is hard. No, I say you're stuck with us.
I'm stuck with you. That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
No, mine would be Cardi B's "I Like It Like That," of course.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
a Bollywood song if they would, if that could clear the whatever publishing rights. But Disney owns, Hot Star. So
a couple years ago, I was like really feeling myself and like how I was doing in life. And "Hey Look Ma, I Made It" by I think Panic at the Disco was like feeling like my anthem for a while. So when you're in like a good mood, I was digging that. Still feel pretty good. So
I like it.
Both of those songs too, you can close your eyes and you can picture a routine on this show to those songs. That's
Mhm.
what you want in your anthem, is you can see
Yeah.
the band back there playing their cellos and shit.
It'd be a fun activity for another date. If we happen to do another podcast at some point in our lives together, all three of
At
us.
Rob Testanino.
Comment in the chat, do some tags, let us know. Do it now, send us to the moon. We would be fun to like pick out who we would want as our partner and all that kind of stuff. And each week when there's a theme, like find a song that we would want to do in that hypothetical world. I don't know. Next week is movie night. It's like from Academy Award winning
Oscars,
movies.
yeah.
So who knows, but don't think we'll be here to talk about it. But
Unless you tag at Rob Testanino and
let them know.
bother everyone in the Facebook group. If you're a patron, help us out. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, final thing before we get to the couples, we'll pull them up on the screen. We'll talk about them one by one. Opening number, it was I think it was "I'm Alive" by Celine Dion. Fun opener. I feel like we've done some fun opening songs before.
Yeah.
I don't really have this at the top of that, but like it's just fun to see the pros come out.
I was logging into my Disney Plus as this was happening.
Oh.
I have not seen it, but I haven't seen any tweets that it was like super, super great. So I feel like it's a draw, Sometimes they go, I mean, it's like when they open the Tonys, sometimes they have this huge extravagant number, and then sometimes they're not, I was gonna say they're phoning it in. They're not phoning it in. They're so professional. But they're, sometimes, they're not, they can't all be tens, it's nothing in life, they're all tens.
Yeah. But it was fun enough, and I guess now is a good enough time as any. Are we ready to get into these couples? We'll talk through them one by one. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you, Sasha, so we can get them pulled up. And we start right off with our Bachelor himself, most recent Bachelor, a couple months back. For the first time, we have a Bachelor and a Bachelorette on the same season. Usually it's one or the other, but we're starting here
Really?
with Joey and
Okay.
Jenna.
Yeah,
You,
I really liked him. I liked his abs, obviously. Very distracting. I loved it. His entrance was cute. I don't know, just yeah, he seems very personable. I will say, tennis instructor, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, sports.
Yeah. Joey was anybody watching The Bachelor regularly these days? Anybody else on the
No.
panel?
That
No?
another show. I
Okay.
just
No,
had to be
look,
like,
there's a
maybe
lot of
none of
shows
them are
on.
together.
There's a lot of
Sorry.
shows on. I like to binge The Bachelor when it's all said and done. So I enjoyed Joey and his run. He met Kelsey. Kelsey's dad is about to be on the Golden Bachelorette, as was a through line in this episode. ABC
Nepo
is
baby.
ABC, and but Joey was great. I thought. There's a lot of leads on those shows that end up not having the greatest reception afterwards. We'll talk Jenn when she comes, and she's not got a bad reception towards her, but like her journey was crazy. And Joey, I feel like just came out shining as he is in this picture, as he was on the dance floor. And I think him and Jenna are going to be a strong pair here. The Bachelor/Bachelorette contestants, Brandon, usually get a pretty good amount of votes. We've had two Bachelorette winners, the back-to-back Hannah and Caitlin. So I'm looking out for him as a end game.
Yeah, it's funny. The men of the Bachelor franchise who come on here, a few to name. Grocery store Joe was here. He went pretty deep. He was not good, but he kept getting votes because he had popularity behind him. Nick Viall also. Nick Viall was actually pretty good, and I think
Yeah.
most of them kind of they peter out like halfway. But this is what I believe to be the only Bachelor male that I've seen
Ooh.
who could feasibly win. Like he
Mhm.
just, and it's not about, the dance I think was one of the best the top three of the night, certainly, but he has such potential and he is really, really rootable. I didn't watch his Bachelor season, but he just seems like such a humble guy, really friendly. I see him and Kelsey on TikTok all the time, which is where I've consumed all of my knowledge of the two of them.
Mhm.
And they just seem like really fun people, and I love that they panned to Kelsey, who's obviously super excited for him after he dances. So I voted so many times for Joey and Jenna. So this is not to spoil it. I know we have 12 more couples, but this is my winner pick of the season.
I could
I
see
want
it.
him to win.
Look, the thing that you need for a successful couple to win the season is obviously the fan support behind the contestant, but you also need fan support behind the dancer. And
Mhm.
we'll get to it. Like, one of my biggest worries for the standout of the night, Brandon and Chandler, is that Brandon doesn't have that fan base. As like, you could pair Val with anybody and you're going to have
Yes.
thousands and millions of Val stands voting for them no matter what. But Jenna does have that support. I think she's been on enough. She has had some successful pairings, and I think that again, this pair is just looking pretty deadly. To get into their performance, they did Dancing in the Country, a cha-cha-cha. They got 3 sevens, a total score of 21, and pretty well received. When you're the couple that's starting off the night, it's because production knows that you have a good little number to go with. Sasha pointed out the abs. The shirt was open by the end of the night. Bruno, of course, keeping an eye on that.
Bruno is literally me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
He's so crazy, and I love that for me.
Yeah.
I do also think it's interesting that I know Dancing in the Country, this song, it's by one of the guys from Florida Georgia Line. Great song. I do think that Joey genuinely enjoys this song, whereas there are some folks that were dancing to songs that clearly were like given to them, I think. Like Danny, the NFL player, he's dancing to like the Shabuzi song Tipsy, which is a great song, and maybe he's really enjoyed it in the past 3 months. But is that his like personal anthem? Like
Well,
Danny
that's the whole
Amendola,
thing. Yeah.
it seems crazy that Danny Amendola, who's in the NFL for however many years, like his pump up song before a game was certainly not Tipsy by Shabuzi. I feel like
I'm like, does he know Shaboos? That's my question.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that like when you give a theme, like go with the give free reign to the people that you have on your show. I do genuinely believe that Joey picked the song. Like it makes sense for what I know, the little about Joey, that he would enjoy the song. But is Anna Delvey really digging
Well, hello.
espresso
So
right now?
great transition. Kelly in the patron group had asked, said some of these anthem songs were so strange. Anna using espresso was so odd. Great song, but her personal anthem. So we know, like, they picked the song. Production is giving them a list of like what 5 songs and saying we really want you to use espresso. But like, do you have any other options that you're thinking of these songs? Anna, I don't know if Anna's saying anything to anybody out here. We'll get to Anna. But I guess that was an easy one to get over. The heavy-handedness from production in getting these songs in there and somehow getting the contestants to say, yes, I picked this song. Very impressive by production. All across the board.
But she's a con artist. Oh my god, sorry. We're not talking about her.
I know she's
so
last
many
show
feelings.
closer.
Ugh.
But as far as Joey goes, I mean, his reason for picking this song was because he moved to Nashville right after college, and he had to make friends, and I don't know, going with the country vibes there. But they did great. I thought they did, a good job opening the show, and the judges liked them. And the athlete angle was presented with Joey, and he's like, "There's actually real athletes here, so let's not put that on me." So
he's like, "Excuse who is the athlete in the room with us? It's
right.
not me."
Yeah, he's a tennis coach. Like, good for him. More recently, just big time reality star. So
period. And we know if you're on Dancing with the Stars and if you watched, or maybe this is your first time watching Dancing with the Stars, either way, Bachelor people get votes.
Oh, big time.
Votes is them. They are votes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, starting off with some 7s, pretty good. It was very funny the way that Joey has never watched the show, because when he gets the 7s, Jenna's freaking out, excited. I mean, if you get a 7 or above on the first night, you're off to a good start. And Jenna's like jumping up and down, and Julianne turns to Joey for his reaction. He's like, I guess that's good. She seems excited.
Yeah, that is funny. I mean, there are a couple people I think also who see their scores later on, and they're also confused. And then you kind of have to look at your pro to be like, we want this? Is this fine?
Like,
I don't understand. Is that not a conversation you would have, right? Like, what's a good score to aim for?
Yeah. I think they have to talk about it. Yeah.
You would
like
think it.
You have, like we'll get to Eric is later going to see some 5s pop up and, expect worse, but we'll get there. All right, let's get to next. We have Brooks, Nader, and Gleb, which
hot.
Are we talking about the dancing, or are we talking about, this season of The Bachelor with the Stars here?
Hot. I love ballroom.
None of their content was about their dance. They got 6s across the board. They got a score of 18. They're dancing to Piece of Me by Britney Spears. And from the moment their intro package started, Sasha, until the end of them getting their scores, it was about, so you guys are into each other.
Sorry. Brooks is wild, because as soon as we meet her, she's like, I just got out of a relationship, so this song, really speaks to me. Oh, and he is very attractive, right? Like they're both kind of stumbling on their, like, I don't know, I'm stumbling now, but they're both like stumbling over their words. It's giving instant chemistry, but obviously that must have been like their 8th or 9th take. Who knows? I'm making it up allegedly. I don't know. But not only that, then after the performance, her line, she's crazy, because Juliana asks, right? Oh, what's about your chemistry? How is it? Blah, blah, blah. She goes, we have a lot of fun. It's obviously all about dancing.
Looks to him, looks around, no one's saying a word.
And Ezra's face in the back took me out, because I said, nah, who fed you this line? Or were you so into him and you're into each other that you had to be like, no, that's my brother. Like, we're obviously just friends.
Help. But this couple starting off strong again. They did, Piece of Me. They did some Britney Spears. I thought they did fine. Brooks, look, it's the first night. Everybody's a little stiff. Everybody's got their partner really doing the heavy lifting, some much more than others. But look, again, even Brandon, the judges, like everything that they had to say during the criticism was like Carrie Ann being like, you guys are so hot. Like this cast is so hot, but really, you guys so hot.
If you're watching this on YouTube right now, pause this, open another tab, go to YouTube. Gleb danced with Jana Kramer, who's a country singer or an actress. I forget. Is she an actress, country singer, Jana Kramer? It doesn't matter.
You tell me.
Their week 1, they danced to Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. And it was so, like, maybe it wasn't week 1. Again, it doesn't matter. It was so hot. And they shouldn't, like, it was crazy that it went on ABC. It's the same network with, like, General Hospital. It's like, you can't put that on TV. It's crazy.
You're right.
I mean,
Have you watched Scandal, Grey's Anatomy?
I know Grey's. I don't like blood, so I've avoided Grey's Anatomy. But this is
Trust me,
crazy.
there's nothing.
You'll watch this, and then you're gonna need the whatever Sasha's drinking right now. You need to like cool off for a second.
Should we?
I'm not. Yes.
Also,
should
her
we?
outfit.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, yeah, the looks were across the board. I thought everybody looked pretty good tonight. But I mean, look at the two of them together. This, like, are they going to be a thing by the end of this? Like a legit like couple. Like the vibes have to be there.
Honestly, she was not. I mean, she's probably in the top half in terms of dancer skill as a celeb. If they want to last for a while, they have to lean in hard. Like,
yes,
you know, if you're making a business strategy decision here, you lean it.
I mean,
and that gets you to 6th. That gets you to 5th potentially.
Let's talk Harry Jowsey and Riley. Right, last season
they leaned. I saw somewhere that Harry blamed Dancing with the Stars for breaking up his relationship of the person he met on Perfect Match because there was tension with him and the person, and then Riley. Like, it was, you know, I'm not, again, misquoting. You can, again, that other tab that you just had, the Jenna Kramer thing, and you can Google the actual details of what I mean by that. But that's what happens. You lean in and then you go really far in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a side comment? The money. I assume you get like a sign-on bonus for this, but then I've always wondered about the logistics in terms of going week to week to week. What's the pay bump? Do you get more money if you win? Like, they obviously never talk about it. It was so jarring for me on Celebrity Big Brother when they just like gave the celebrity $250,000 and they said it. Like, it's not for charity, it's just for you to have. Like, I'm sure there's a prize for this. And I wonder what it is. I don't think
starting salary for celebrities is $125,000, which includes training for at least 20 hours per week, including several weeks prior to the premiere. The money goes up if obviously they get votes to stay. And for stars who make it to week 3 and 4, there's an added, allegedly, I don't know, bonus amount of $10,000 per week. If they make it to week 5, there's an additional pay of $15,000. Week 6 and 7, add $20,000 per week. And then weeks 8 and 9, you see $30,000 deposited. So if they're lucky enough to make it to the semifinals and finals, there's an additional $50,000. Plus the winner gets the mirror ball trophy, of course. So if you make it to the finale, I guess you walk away with about $360,000. Rumor, allegedly.
And again, I need to know what the pros are making, because I don't think Emma's signing up for this show to be on it for 2 weeks or 1 week and get the same and get less pay because of it. So
can we figure out the people, you know how you guys got America to the top of the iTunes charts? What can we do to get me on this program? Not that I think I'm going to do super well, but I could use $360,000. You know, it could be, it might be easier than the path to victory that I had a year ago this time. You know, this might go better somehow. Let's just, you know, we can noodle on it. We don't have to make a decision now. But
look, we thought Parvati might have been showing up on this cast. She could have opened the door for Survivor contestants, and you know, would have been great.
There's never
Brandon
been
right on through. No.
Do you know there's been one person who's been on this show in The Amazing Race? Do you know who that person is?
Been on this and The Amazing Race. Oh, that's a fun trivia question that I don't.
It has to be one of the athletes, right?
That's why you bring me. It is an athlete.
Yes, I forgot which one. But
is it one of the Globetrotters?
No, her name is Amy Purdy, who is on Dancing with the. I'm sorry, she might have been on the same number season. She might have been on Dancing with the Stars. I'm sorry, she was on Amazing Race 19. She was second out. She was with her boyfriend at the time named Daniel, and then a couple years later, she was on Dancing with the Stars season 18. She's missing both of her legs. She has 2 prosthetic legs.
Oh yes.
And then she went to the finals. She was like, I think 3rd place. So
I
you know,
remember
that was
now
pretty lit.
If not you, if not Parvati, and no spoilers here, but John Lovett, can we get him on the show?
Because he would actually bring in a huge audience, I feel.
Yeah.
So I get it. Also for the pros, the rumored allegedly salary is $1,600 per episode. But then, for the pros that like maybe have a fan following, blah blah blah, their salary is negotiable and could go up to 5,200 per episode.
The people that have been around for a minute are definitely making more. But then I also forget, like, to think about how even if Emma's gone, I'm going to keep picking on Emma. Even if she's gone with her celebrity right off the bat, they end up sticking around to do a couple of dances in and out of. They dance with the other couples and whatnot, so they're still on the episodes. They're just not competing. So that's the fun of the show. Okay, let's go back a little bit with both of these two couples. I think it'd be worthwhile to do a little prediction of how far we think they'll go, just generally. So going back to Joey and Jenna, I'm saying finale. Sasha?
Yeah, I think at least top 3, top 4, if not finale. Yeah.
Brandon, you agree?
I think that I think they will win. But I think they are. There's no option where they're not in the top 3.
Okay, and then Brooks and Gleb. I don't know about finale. Like final 6, 7, something like that.
Final 6 is exactly where I was going. This is they are. I think Gleb kind of.
Oh, I was talking about Joey. Sorry, this whole time.
No, in the last run. Yes. Now we're to.
Okay, sorry. I was like, oh my god, I don't want.
Now we're on Brooks and Gleb. We're moving faster right here.
Cool. Sorry.
Final 6, 7-ish, or do you think sooner, later for these two, Sasha?
My question is, does she want to be here? If so, yeah, I think then if they play up the love angle, I think 7.
Look, if she got what she came here for, and that's Gleb, they could just bounce out by next week or something like that. Yeah. We'll see. All right, let's get to the next couple. We got a lot to get to here. How do you say her name? Ilona?
Yeah,
I think. And Alan, right? Olympic rugby player. So
love her.
Sasha, you guys covered some stuff from the Olympics over on Mess Magnets. Did she come up at all over there?
Oh, she didn't. No, she did because she's so funny. Again, she's the queen. Her TikToks, everyone should go watch. The fact that she said the pyramid scheme of confidence, so I can't stop laughing. And that's her, her content was very relatable. She's a badass. That's why she went viral anyway, was because of just how good she was at rugby, beating everybody's ass. And on top of that, her TikToks were very personable and so funny. And I think she was doing some like Love Island type spoofs, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, she's so good. All around hilarious. I just want her to have more confidence in herself.
Yeah, she was clearly super nervous, which is a shame because she was very good. Like I think that but again, this is somebody who's probably going to be there for the long haul. Whether it's the finale, but I think top 6 certainly. I do believe that she'll eventually come into her own, and of course it's nerve-wracking. Clearly it's out of her element, and despite being an athlete and having natural dance talent, she you could tell that she was a little shaky. So I really like her. I love Alan. I hope that they go a couple weeks, and I hope even next week, even a week of just having done it for the first time may make a difference in confidence.
Yeah, so they do their cha-cha-cha to Man, I Feel Like a Woman, and they end up getting 6s across the board. Again, another score of 18, which they were happy with, jumping up and down with those 6s. Look, if the professionals, if Alan's telling her, let's hope for 6s, and they pull out 6s, you're going to be happy. But she has just got the expressions down. She is a very funny person. And, she one of the many celebrities from Dancing with the Stars that I learned who this person is through the show. And I love that. I could truly name if I looked at the list, the amount of truly famous people that I know only because they were on the show is way higher than it should be, but it is. So she was great, and the judges loved the start that they had, noting the same thing that you guys are, that just a little bit more confidence in yourself, which is the same for a lot of the couples, but they were noting that for her will go a long way with the two of them. They have a pretty good partnership. They're very laughy together. I like the outfits choice this time. Alan, getting a good partner this time around. I feel like it's hit or miss for him, whether he gets someone good or not. Prediction wise, I don't know. Would you say, Brandon, final 6? That sounds right.
I think 6. I mean, especially with I feel like we're kind of top heavy with the people who I think will go further.
Yeah.
In terms of the lineup here. But I do think that they will be around for a while. And this is somebody that I read all of the Reddit threads and all of the the Twitter accounts that are trying to leak who's going. This is somebody who's been discussed since the Olympics, along with obviously Steven. So I do think that people have had their eyes on her for quite a while. And I think that unless she was like really remarkably bad, I think that she'll float for a minute. Because there are people here that they should leave at some point. So I think that she has like immunity for quite a while.
And she was giving America's sweetheart during the Olympics. So, right? I don't know how you felt.
I mean, I'm getting that vibe here. So
yeah, that's what I felt, at least when I like was introduced to her and I said, this is my bestie. I love her.
No doubt.
The what you were talking about at the beginning was definitely her best line of the night about the pyramid scheme of confidence, because her storyline, you know, from her intro package into the dance is how she, you know, had some perceptions of her body that she was not the most comfortable with as her life has gone on, but she wants to show young women how to use their body. And Carrie-Anne was talking about, you know, being muscular is a good thing in a dance competition because you dance with muscles, and you know, it's going to be a big benefit to her as the season goes on. And yes, she says that because Julianne was like, how did you harness all this confidence? And she says it's because of all the strong women she's been around. So the confidence has been passed down like a positive pyramid scheme. So good on them. So moving on to Brandon, the reason that we're here, Reginald and Emma.
Here he is. I'm trying to think of the first line of the Family Matters theme song, and I can't. It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news. Are his scores good news? Two 5s and a 6?
Now this is where we get into it. This is where it starts, because are we ready to get into it? So,
yes.
Reginald and Emma, we have a salsa here. And some of us were watching the show back in the day when Master P and Ashley were getting an 8 out of 30. And it was okay to give low scores. It was okay. Even if we liked the person, even whatever, it was okay to give out a 1, a 2, a 3.
Yeah.
But now we got Carrie-Anne giving 6s to Carl Winslow standing in place the whole time. And love this man. Love his work. I have seen his work, and that's rare for me. But wow.
I would die for him tonight. I think he's an angel. I saw many TikToks that had like 100,000 plus likes of like people on the couch crying watching his performance because they were just like, he's so cute and pure. I get it, right? You like, this is a thing. This is Dancing with the Stars history lesson from Brandon Donlon. Season 19, host now of Dancing with the Stars, Alfonso Ribeiro, is there. And he does the Carlton dance, I think like week 5 or 6. And it explodes, right? It's all over the news. It's like viral on YouTube in 2014. I think the fall of 2014 is when that season was. Now you bring back these legacy folks, right? Who are like from a famous IP solely to dance to the theme song or the song that made their IP known, or not even made their IP known, but the song from their known IP, right? So you have Reginald in here to dance to this, the theme song, which he's going to do next week, most likely, or if he's there the week after. And then that's it, I think, for him. And I love him. I love that he's here. And I wish him the best. It's so funny. Emma had a TikTok the other day that was like, hey, this is like 3 days before the show came on. It was like, the dancing is going to be what it is. So I need you to just vote. Like, she knew. So I love this, and I love him. A 6 is crazy. A 6 is crazy. Like, it's again, Matt just said it. Master P, you're throwing up 3s and 2s. And this wasn't Master P level because Master P didn't want to be there. Like, Reginald is trying, and I like that. I think Billy D. Williams from the Star Wars franchise, I think was on season 18, 19, and he had a similar first performance where he was scored much lower. And I understand, like, maybe now you don't want to give a person who's like signed on for your show, who's super excited to be there, give them that low of a score. I get that. You shouldn't give them a 6. 6 is high.
She screwed herself the rest of the night. All I kept watching was her scores as she had to give everybody else a bump above that she actually wanted to. Because how are you going to give Reginald a 6? And then people who go after, like, actually, like Danny goes next and gets a 7 from Carrie-Anne. Like, 1 point is the difference between these two performances. Look, I get it, Brandon. I get what you're saying. You know, he's there. You want to not make him feel like, like garbage that he did horrible, but like a 6, like 4s would have been appropriate.
Yeah. I think 4s would have been kind. 4 or 5, right? Hell, even 5, where it's like, you're not great, you're not bad, at least you tried. Thanks for showing up. But 6 is mad. And on top of that, I think I remember when they used to get booed by the audience, the
Oh yeah.
judges. Remember, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm here and I'm trying to make it work." Da, da, da. So I remember those days. And now look at this. Production has to have decided that you cannot, hey, this dance isn't good, but we need you to not score it less than blank. Because like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine otherwise.
And
Yeah.
Carrie Ann not only giving that score, but also like being his mother, being like, "Oh, can you get the confetti off your head before we move on?" I'm like, "Why do you have
Yeah,
to call him
that
out
was
on it?"
weird,
That was
right?
so weird.
Yeah.
But okay. She was just very happy for him. She's like, this is a young person's game, but you're out here doing it. So wanted to give him that respect, which, equates to her for a 6. But Derek and Bruno both giving, some pretty fair criticism as far as the words they were saying goes, being like, well, that was the most compact salsa I've ever seen. You really did all the work with your face. You told the story with your face, and we appreciate that. That's very helpful to at least give us something.
Just
Yeah.
yes.
I do hope next week, week 2, 2 people are going home, right? I don't wish that he goes home. Like, I don't wish that upon him. In fact, I'd rather other people go home for sure. Like, I'd rather get a week 3 out of Reginald. I'm just realizing now next week is movie week, so he might not even dance to the theme song aside. I do think that he should move next time. I think that's my light critique.
That's what they wanted. Yeah.
He should go somewhere else on the floor if possible. I would like it. They normally, for the older folks, they will have like the troupe come out and dance kind of alongside them, or kind of just give you another visual thing to look at. And I don't know why they didn't do that for this whole performance, or did
Yeah,
they? The whole
it was at the
performance?
beginning. They gave it for like the first couple seconds to have a couple people around him to distract you from the fact that, he wasn't moving. And then eventually Emma comes in, everybody else disappears. And Emma's, of course, the same thing that later we're going to see with Eric and I'm forgetting her. Oh, Britt, right? That, the pro has to do all the work and distract you from the fact that the other person's not moving much. And that's okay. Like Carrie Ann says, like, it's okay if it's simple, but it needs to be a little bit more, which we know we get. So Brandon, do you want to play a history game? Do you want to tell me the other lowest scores in Dancing with the Stars history?
Yeah.
I pulled some of them.
Oh, I was just thinking that, and I don't think I know offhand. Can you give me who's the lowest? Is it Kenny Mayne had a really low score? I know
He's not in the top. He's not in the bottom 3 lowest. I couldn't find like a definitive list, but I found a ranking that had literally just the bottom 3. So we already talked about the worst, Master P and Ashley, with the 8 out of 30. Second from the bottom, or second from the top bottom, whatever. Martin and Britt a couple seasons ago got a 13 out of 40.
Oh yes, Martin Cove, yeah.
And then a tie with 11 out of 30 points is Lamar Odom and PETA.
Okay, I actually remember watching that. Yes.
And Carol Baskin with Pasha.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember Lamar walking. I remember like Reginald didn't move, but Lamar moved, but just kind of went for a walk.
Yeah, he was like hitting every 4th step, maybe, if that.
Look, and he's gonna go on a celebrity show and he's gonna half-ass it. That's what he's gonna do.
I do think that like even the distinction between the 1 point, the 2 points is just enthusiasm and wanting to be there. I do think that Carol Baskin probably wanted to be there, but I think people were just so like put off by it that she got low. But like Lamar clearly was not interested. Master P clearly was not interested. Martin Cove was interested, but he also just I think was stationary and just did like karate moves. That's what I remember from that performance. He did karate, which is not what you want from this.
Great stuff. All right. So yeah, they were surprised with their scores. We were surprised with the scores. And yet, we move on. We'll see if they can make it through next week's double elimination. Sasha, I turn to you for all your NFL expertise. Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson.
Yes, 2-time NFL Super Bowl champion. He was a wide receiver for the Patriots. So that's where them rings came from. So yeah, I knew him. Again, this is someone whose name I know. I know people on the Patriots because they win. And I was very surprised by how good he did.
Yeah. I wish, he smiled or something like that, give me a facial expression.
Yeah.
like Whitney's back. This is a good partner for Whitney. Like they're obviously going to be a good couple as far as like doing the dances is concerned. But like, I'm like, is she having any fun? Is he having any fun? I'm wondering.
That was my biggest detractor. I mean, I think I alluded to it in the beginning of this podcast where I said, like, you can hit all the technical points, which I think
Yeah.
Danny did a very good job of. He just looked like he was on like a court order. Like he didn't look
Yeah.
like he was having any fun, which isn't fun for the viewer. But I also think that he, as like an NFL person, I feel like maybe is wired to just want to win and is so focused on the win where you like forget to have fun in the middle of it, if that makes sense. And I hope that within a couple weeks, I hope he kind of falls into that, where he is enjoying himself and like enjoying the moment as opposed to just gunning for doing everything technically right to get the highest score. But you need a little like Joey's got the sauce. Like I feel like Danny's got to like, find that inner sauce, which is a phrase I wish I didn't use, but he needs to find sauce somewhere.
Yeah. I also think that for athletes, what's really hard, not necessarily for Dwight Howard, but still hard, is when they're so locked in, they go into, and I think same thing happened with Ilona, is they go into like, well, I'm doing something that I want to win, so that equals maybe intensity. And my guy, and his face, I swear, didn't move. Like it didn't change
Nope.
from that expression.
No.
Like it was AI. That's what I felt.
And Derek commented on it. He was talking about, I think it was Derek that was like, I understand you play football, you got your face covered with a mask, no one can see you. It's not the case here. You gotta show us a little something.
Game face, it doesn't work here. Okay.
There's like a level of like, from him to like what Eric Roberts was doing with like, singing every word. Somewhere in the middle is just giving us some good facial expressions. Even a smile goes a long way. But it's cute. Danny's talking about, I think he was the one that's doing it for his mom, right? His mom was in the audience and this very cute little lady. So this is them. If you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, of course, very late into the podcast to be plugging the fact that we are on YouTube right now. And you could be following along with the images of these people. But hey, what are we, halfway through the couple? So not too late to jump over here. But yeah, so they do a bar song, in parentheses, Tipsy. I know this song by lyric. I don't know it by name.
Same. Yeah.
I was like, David Guetta still getting work.
Song? Yeah.
But yeah, no, they did well, and they got decent scores: a 7, a 6, and a 7 for a total score of 20. So okay, we didn't talk about where Reginald and Emma are going to go, but I think we can kind of surmise, a general idea. Somewhere in the early section. Danny and Whitney, are they going to go far, Sasha?
Yeah. Yes and no, right? Like, is he gonna lean into the Patriot stuff? Maybe the Patriot fans, NFL fans kind of vote for him. But outside of that, I just need him to be a little bit more personable. Maybe his score saves him, and like 4 weeks from now, I could see him being in danger.
I think that's a very on the money prediction. I do think that he can maybe pick it up, maybe, but I think this is the kind of athlete. I think you have to have like also another level of like special sauce to be the athlete that really a lot of the viewing audience is totally unfamiliar with to make it super, super far. You have to either be really good or really rootable. And I'm not getting rootable at the moment. Maybe that changes, but I can see him being in, like, he's not getting votes because he isn't good. He's just not getting votes because everybody's getting more. And that's why he'll leave.
Yeah.
He's not going to do anything wrong. But I can see, like, I think Sasha's exactly right. A 4th out, a 5th out. That would be my official locked in prediction.
I'm told he's a big name in NFL, like, who the
no,
NFL.
He is.
So yeah, which should bode well for him, but a lot of the professional athletes that we've seen go far have also won the audience over, like Brandon saying, who don't know them already and are like, oh, well, this guy's good. This girl's good because they have, the athletic ability to be good on the dance floor. And then they also have a good personality to go along with it. I'm not trying to bash on this guy too much, but, it just was a little stiff as far as the smiling goes and connecting with the audience. So that certainly can hurt you on Dancing with the Stars. Moving on.
My last fun fact about Danny Amendola. Would you believe he competed on another celebrity reality show last year with another member of this cast? They were together the whole time. Dwight Howard and Danny Amendola participated in the Special Forces show where they're like in the military for some
Yes,
reason.
I
And
forgot.
they both made it to the final episode. There were 5 people in the final of that show, which I think is like the challenge-esque, like the MTV challenge. And they were 3rd and 4th place respectively. So they know each other well. It's like you see somebody at 2 jobs ago and you're like on the new job. You're like, oh, you work here also? It's a fun little fact.
There was one day that somebody told me that Tyler Cameron and JoJo Siwa were friends, and I said, "Excuse me," and they said, "Yeah, they filmed like Special Forces or something like that together." And I said, "Okay, great." So
That's really funny. I
we're
just
connecting
forgot about
celebrities.
Special Forces.
Yeah, any way
Oh
we
my
can.
gosh.
All right, this person I don't believe was on Special Forces, but they were on Big Brother 13 in some capacity, and we'll get to that. Tori Spelling making her way over to Dancing with the Stars, one of the people on this cast that that Brandon supposedly had been getting calls for years, and this is finally the time. She's
Every
entered her
year
50s,
sounds
and,
like, yeah.
It's
and she's
crazy
ready
that
to
it
say
took
yes.
20 years for her to do this. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And again, with peace and love to Tori Spelling, I don't know what was necessarily keeping her from it. I guess now is the right time. Hell yeah. She had also participated in season 1 of The Masked Singer. She's been on it. This is not her first reality foray. I thought I have a spreadsheet of every celebrity who's ever done a reality show. It shouldn't surprise anybody who's listening to this. I did search Tori's name in it. She has only done The Masked Singer. She is one of a couple people who's done a previous show. Some people haven't. But she is now here on a show that she's been getting called for since 2005. So peace and love.
Yeah. Yeah, she's all about reclaiming this new time in her life and whatnot. And Carrie Ann's pushing, egging her on in a very positive way. Like, you go, girl, you get it. She's going through, she says, a very public divorce. So she's got a lot going on with all of that. As far as the performance goes, she is dancing a foxtrot to Trust Fall by Pink. And Sasha, I would say, she was giving like this performance. If it had one thing, it was heart. She was here to perform as best as she could with that smile on her face that we were looking for from Danny. Other than that, a little bit of room for improvement.
Here's the thing. I felt like they kind of did her dirty. If they would have started the music as she was on, I know it's a live show, it's awkward, but the fact that she was like laying there a little bit and then started like flailing her hands a little bit, it just, to me, it almost took out all the air from the performance because I was excited for Tori Spelling. I think this is an exciting person to watch. This is like exactly who Dancing with the Stars is made for. That nostalgia, but still kind of good in the middle, whatever, has room for improvement, et cetera, et cetera. But they had her laying there like a fish. And then in the literal water, whatever it was. I don't know. I felt like choreography could be a little bit better for the start, but outside of that, I think she did well and it felt happy.
I did think that I think who gave her a 5? Bruno gave them a 5 for this. I think that was this is not a 5. If Reginald is a 5, this is not a 5.
Come on.
She was not the best of the night, presumably, but she wasn't. I didn't think she was bad. I didn't watch that and say like, okay, like this is a normal first week Dancing with the Stars performance for somebody who is not a dancer. Like this is what you go on the show for. And she could be really good. She could end up being really good. And I hope she does because I do like her. I've seen her in interviews. She seems great. So I hope that there is more of her in the future. And I hope that she kind of, the same thing with Danny's got to be a little bit more smiley. She's got all that. She's got that in space. It's just now this is a technicality or a technical thing to keep pushing for.
And I think she'll do well. I feel like she can learn. Yeah,
I think she'll do well. So I don't know the Tori Spelling fan base in modern times, again, outside of Adam Pock, but I feel like my gut was telling me that she's going to go out like somewhere around like a ninth place, like an 8th place. It was like the number popping up in my head. Again, if there is a major Tori Spelling fan base still out there, I've never seen a minute of 90210. Then maybe not. Maybe she goes further. But just as far as like the fanfare that I felt from watching the show, and reaction from the audience and even like the judges and everything involved with her performance, it just felt like, okay, she'll go far enough where we get rid of actually bad people first. But I mean, like Brandon's saying, if she's getting the same 5 that Reginald is getting, this isn't that promising.
I think her and Danny actually are very interchangeable in when they will go. I think they will be like one after the other, whether it's 8th, 7th, 9th, 8th. I think that they both are struggling in a particular thing that they need the other, they need the other person's thing. But I do think that it will just be a situation where there are other people who are better at both things that are getting more votes. So she will just be fourth boot, fifth boot, around there.
Speaking of Carrie-Anne, is she okay? What happened to her paddle? Here, she loses the 6 paddle and she has to hold an upside down 9. What if she gave a 5? What if she gave a 7? Like, what does she do? Holding a 1 upside down? Like for
that
7?
may be the reason that she had to give I guess she could have given. Yeah, she could have just
Look.
Given
My favorite thing that happens on the show is when they, push the wrong button and then hold a panel up that is different. Like that happens. Yeah. At least once or twice a season. But yeah, no, here what happened was that Carrie-Anne apparently pushed the button underneath the table for a 6 and then looked around and couldn't find her 6 paddle anywhere. I mean, probably because she was abusing it all night with,
they probably were like, change it.
They took it away from her.
There's a clip of, this is totally off topic. There's a clip of will.i.am, who was a judge on the UK version of The Voice, where somebody is singing and they, how everybody's, on The Voice, the judges are sitting the other way and they have their big button. will.i.am decides to there's a mark on the button. So he licks his finger and tries to clean it. And then he presses it. And granted, nobody on The Voice is bad, but he was so annoyed that he pressed it and wasn't going to. And it's just why even put that in the show? It's like a weird,
oh, that's so awkward.
Yeah. You got to go watch the clip. It's the second most awkward thing that has ever happened on an iteration of The Voice. The first is a different thing that I will do my own podcast about.
I want to hear that podcast. I want to hear this story. I thought we were just talking reality TV overall, and I'm like, if Topaz is the first number 1 overall, craziest moment, that could be up there.
Let me. This is a 15-second. Cupid of the Cupid Shuffle fame is on season 2 or 3 of The Voice, and he goes in his little intro package. He's like, I don't want to be known for the Cupid Shuffle. I have a great voice. It kind of overshadows me, whatever. He's like, I want to break out of that. I want to sing for the judges and have them know the real me. And then Cupid sings the Cupid Shuffle as his audition song, and nobody turns around. And they all turn around and they're like, that's a crazy song to sing. Because it's, do to the right,
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I'm Cupid. That's my song. And they're like, why would you sing that? And then they're like, sing a different song. Now, granted, he can't be accepted now. They've already turned around. He sings another song beautifully. And they're like, you should have just done that. It's crazy. You went in with the Cupid Shuffle. The clip's on YouTube. I'm giving you a lot of homework if you're watching this. Go watch that. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's that lady that was the voice of Tommy Pickles up to these days? She auditioned for that show 6 times, right?
She randomly posted a video, or at least I randomly saw it online.
Surprised they didn't
doing all the voices.
Yeah. Just have her singing Tommy Pickles dialogue or something like that. Reality TV, welcome. So all right, let's get to the next couple here. We have our Bachelorette, who quite a story here if you were not following along. Jenn, the Bachelorette, just ended in one of the, have you heard this expression before? The most dramatic finales of all time, but it actually kind of was. It was weird. It was uncomfortable. Watch that, go listen to the Bachelorette podcast with Amy and Haley and get all of the tea on what went down there. But after all was said and done, they said, well, that was a horrible experience for you. Last minute addition to the Dancing with the Stars cast. And she said, okay, why not? Gets on a plane alongside Sasha, who again was not supposed to be a professional in this season. He was supposed to be dancing with the troupe, and ends up getting a last minute spot alongside Jenn. And this partnership looks pretty good. The judges, Brandon, are talking about how great of chemistry they have together.
They're great. There were TikToks that I saw of these two doing their little, I think that the Riley Arnold of it all, who's whether she's Gen Z or Gen A, I think maybe probably Gen Z. She has been TikToking like crazy. And now all of the pros are, I don't know if they're mandated to TikTok or everybody just hopped on TikTok.
Oh, they've been for a while.
Everybody is commenting on Jenn and Sasha's stuff and saying that these are they've got it, whatever the thing is. Whether, I don't know if it's necessarily a romantic thing. I don't think it is. But they just have,
Sasha,
they're very
he has a new man, right, Jenn?
I don't know. So like the thing is that like for anybody that was or wasn't following with her season, one of the guys that made it to final four, maybe I don't know if it was 3 or 4. His name is Jonathan. He was in the audience when they kept showing to Jen's friends. He was there. So people I think were kind of speculating like, are they together after she ends up not spoiler alert for the latest Bachelorette season, not with any of the guys at the end of the show, especially the guy that she had ultimately picked, and things got gross and weird and messy. So I think there's a
Horrible
little bit of
awkward.
like, are they together? I don't have the tea on that. I'm sorry. I don't have the latest updates on if they actually are or if they're just really good friends. I think that was the answer. But at least he was there. I don't think this is a romantic pairing by any means, but they do seem to get along really, really well. And they get a score of 19 here, a 7 from Carrie Ann, who again is grading on a curve after her Reginald score, but I think the 7 was at least 1 7 was nice to see for them. They did pretty well given they had less training time than everybody else by a little bit, I think.
No doubt. I don't keep up with the Bachelor franchise. I think that Jenn is the Bachelorette contestant that I've known the least about that's been on the show. Like, I think that like Hannah Brown
That's
and
issue
Caitlin Bristowe.
too.
What was that?
No, that's an issue too, right? This is the first Asian Bachelorette, and
Right. That I feel like that
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I don't think that I had seen her like permeate from like into my TikTok or Twitter feed enough. Not enough, but I just hadn't seen it. So this is interesting for me to now learn of her through this show.
Yeah. But yeah, Derek's talking about them being a good match. Bruno says it was all the great qualities of a cha-cha-cha, and he really liked it. Carrie Ann is obsessed with talking about how hot the cast is, which is fair. There were celebrities on TV. A lot of them are good looking. But yeah, it's again a pretty good performance. They were pretty happy with the scores. Apparently Jenn has stage fright, so she says that she kind of blacked out, as they did Flowers by Miley Cyrus. 2 on point here, way to, again, production just putting their
Like,
hand
that is
down on the
not her
scale
anthem.
here.
I'm sorry. Be
I mean,
serious.
again, if you watch the end of the Bachelorette season, if you know how that all ends, you get it. But like, she did not pick that song.
No. And she was a late addition, right? So she didn't get to allegedly even practice as much.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the story there. I did not cut ahead to their picture here, but as you see, the two of them performing, as far as outfits go, I feel like maybe the least coordinated. I don't know if the wardrobe department also had like the least amount of time with the two of them. I mean, she looks good, but I don't know. The oranges almost feel like they don't match, unless it's just
And
picture,
it doesn't look good. Like, his orange just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Her outfit definitely looked better on video. Like, when I was watching, like, I never felt like it was ugly.
Yeah.
But now that I'm watching his, oof.
We'll see. These two seem pretty promising. As far as predictions go, I do feel like Joey goes farther for sure. While there's a lot of love for Jenn out there, and especially, the sympathy as well after how things ended for her, I think she could make it to the end game. But like, are the Bachelor fans now splitting the vote? Because that's tough. Usually they have one person to, put all their votes on, the Bachelor Nation. So the fact that they now have 2 people to vote for, that's going to be tough. And I think that they're going to end up choosing Joey. He's just so beloved. I don't know.
Yeah. I do think that she was very good, and I think she definitely has potential. I would venture to say that she'll be in the top 6. I just don't know where. I don't think top 3 by any means. I do have to also plug my laptop charger in, so I'm just going to step out for 2 seconds.
Feel free. We will get started with Chandler and Brandon here. And Chandler is, Sasha, another one of our Disney Channel friends to join the show here. There have been so many young actors, actresses that have certainly not gotten their start on Dancing with the Stars, but like in my world, sometimes have entered the public eye through Dancing with the Stars. Like, if you want to go all the way back, Zendaya was on Dancing with the Stars before she was truly Zendaya. So I always love to meet the new young stars here. Yeah, exactly. But Chandler and Brandon, who breakout performers of the night.
Great.
Killed it.
So good. I do think that they will probably win. I think that, like, I'm rooting for the Joey of it all. But she's great. Like, she's the only person. Sometimes you have a cast where there's like 3 or 4 great people. I think she's the only so far great dancer. So I think that they are for sure slam dunking final 3, unless it's like a shock elimination, which sometimes does happen. And you are right, Matt, what you had said earlier, that Brandon doesn't have that much name recognition as some of the other folks do. So if they're taking out like a 5th or 6th week thing and everybody's shocked by it, that's the only way that I don't see them making the final 3 for sure. But she's only going to get better every week. And she's really, really good.
That's my worry. That's 100% my worry for these two. I don't think that they will win because of that. And I think that they obviously stand out through one episode as like the front runners, like, highest score, obviously, and just did well. Like Chandler was talking about, she did do some dance when growing up. And by the way, just to like touch on that real quick, I don't mind when that happens, when a celebrity shows up that's danced before. Okay, they're going to be a good dancer on the show. Great. Heather Morris didn't win the show. She just, you still got to get the votes.
Who was a
elimination?
Caitlin from Bachelorette?
Caitlin Bristow. She was a dancer throughout early in her life. It doesn't always mean anything.
Too. Yeah, Neve was like a professional, or danced all through like high school and college, and then does Catfish. Nobody knows that he dances, and then he's fantastic. I don't care. Like the first couple seasons, Christy Yamaguchi wins a season of Dancing.
Yeah,
we're fine. We're like, relax.
Yeah.
Every reality TV fandom has people who just want to ruin it for everybody else.
Did anyone? Yeah. Sorry, did anyone on the panel know Chandler at all by name coming into this?
No, because I didn't watch the second Pretty Little Liars. I only know like round 1.
So not only are they good, but of course, Chandler picks as her anthem, wink, 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 Hot to Go. Can't imagine how this song is going to make it in. This and Espresso being in the first episode, any young people sitting on their couch with, a parental figure watching the show, just like some of us were, that's the hook to get them to stick with this show for years to come. And it might work.
No doubt. And she's got a lot of, I think a lot of Instagram followers. I know she's a part of like the Zombies franchise, which I've never participated in.
Whatever that is.
I do know that people really like it. So that's great. She's getting the young people for sure.
Yeah. So again, to show you what they looked like, they had a great set. All these like giant, I don't know, balls, bubbles, whatever they were. And then dropping balloons down at the end. They looked good. They knew this was going to be a good performance, and they made sure that the set, followed suit. The outfits, they look great together here. So they're definitely making an effort, I would say, on production's end of things to make us aware that this is a couple to watch and to vote for, because we want to see more of them throughout the rest of the season. So they get 2 8s from Carrie Ann and from Bruno, with Derek being a little bit of a stickler with his 7. He took an extra note about getting a little lower for their future tangos, I guess. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Chandler and Brandon, but we do think probably going decently far.
No doubt.
So
speaking of going places, Sasha has gone away from this podcast.
Yes, she'll be right back. We'll keep things going in the meantime, though. So Chandler and Brandon are going on, probably going far. We have Dwight and Daniela. This is a very funny picture.
Yeah, it's really, seldom do you have to bring in the step stool, but when you have somebody who's, I believe he said 6'11", you need the step stool.
That's insane. So Daniela is very successful with the athletes in the past. Iman and Daniela did one of the most iconic dances in the show's history.
Yeah.
You could probably say that about a handful of dances that they did. One of the most beloved couples winners in the show's history.
Which is crazy because another problematic person, but anyway.
I don't even know that. I loved their whole dynamic when they were on.
Yeah.
Great on the show. Yes.
It does seem like they're going for, former NBA player, recreate the magic here for, run it back with Daniela, I would say. And let's see how it goes for the two of them. They're going to do some, this is how we do it. And just hysterical to see these two dancing, where the height difference is what, like 1.5 feet?
I think a little bit more.
I mean, he's 6'11". Like, damn.
And I think that I heard that maybe she said she was 5'3", or I saw somewhere else that she was 5'3". So, a little bit over 1.5 feet. But yeah, they crushed. They did great.
They did so good.
When he picked her up, Oh, so funny.
And she makes a facial expression looking to the camera like, I know this is ridiculous, but like, we're going to do it. This couple, I mean, should be slated to go pretty far. Again, the magic of what Daniela was able to do last time with a tall with a tall athlete. If she can make that magic happen again here. Do we know? I mean, Sasha, I'm going to turn to you again for the sports angle, which Brandon, no disrespect to you. I just know Sasha's such a sports girly. Does Dwight Howard have a big following as well?
I do.
He's very.
Do you know this, Brandon? I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I don't know that. I just know that he does not come with no controversy.
Okay.
Correct.
And that's the face that Sasha made.
Yes. Thank you. Because no, he is very famous. Period. If you know basketball, you know Dwight Howard. I want to say all of that. Woof, his past is a mess. Like, I'm sorry, it's just like sexual assault, child abuse, harassment, threats, like all of it. Yeah, so that's what I lately have been thinking about when it comes to Dwight Howard. So it's wild he's on the show.
Production for the show seems to not care about that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, very obviously the amount of people they've been putting on with controversy in their past. Look at this season, look at any season, but interesting. I'm learning as we go here as well. So as far as their, and it's funny because later Carrie Ann, when Anna goes, is going to give like a whole speech about how we should give her a chance.
Correct.
I don't know. We're not getting that here, but they had a big reaction. They broke a sound barrier in the ballroom, given how the rest of the night had been going to that point. The audience was into everybody else, but really got loud for this one. And the judges took note.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Daniela, I forget her. I don't know her inaugural season. I don't think it was with Amon. I think she was on the year before. I can't remember who with, but she is fantastic. And I think right now is maybe the best choreographer. Like I really look forward to even if she was with somebody that I had never heard of. Granted, I'm not looking forward to Dwight by any means, but even if she was with like a total nobody to me, I know that I can expect greatness from not only them because she brings it out of them, but also she is really, really good at this particular part. I think she's married to Pasha also, which I just remembered.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
When I remember like who is actually connected, I just say, oh yeah, I knew that. I definitely remember that. Just because there's so many connections.
So many.
Fair.
But yeah, no, they had a good they seem like they have some good chemistry despite the height difference here. Very funny as he tells Bruno, bigger is better, and Bruno's like, absolutely. And I don't think Dwight caught on what was going on there. Julianne Hough, what Julianne Hough, she's like, I want to be thrown around like that.
I was surprised that she never got like paired with the athlete, or maybe she did, but never.
She's gotten with she was paired with at least like one. I think she was Apollo Antanono.
Sure.
I think
she was Apollo
with him. But not. I don't think she got like the NBA players, like the tall people. But yeah. So and he's doing this for his son Trey, who's in the audience, adorable little kid, just cheering on dad. So I guess some controversy going along with Dwight. We'll see how that impacts the voting.
Yeah. No, so. I think he has he's a big enough name for people to vote for him.
Yeah. But likely not enough of a support to win the whole thing. No. I feel like it should be fair to say. Okay.
But you know what's interesting? Daniela kind of does. Like Daniela, I think has name recognition to where she, I'm so glad that Dwight is interested in doing this because I had seen, again, all of my information comes from TikTok. There was a TikTok of Daniela who was not complaining that she hadn't practiced yet, but she was practicing later than usual because Dwight had something else going on. I think for good reason. I don't remember the exact reason, which made me nervous that Daniela was going to get like screwed with a bad partner. But he seemed to be not only talented at dancing, but also having a lot of fun. So, I don't endorse outside of, actions outside of this. And I just, I don't think they're going to win. I don't really think they're going to be in the finale, but for a couple weeks, they're probably here for a minute.
Yeah. Let's keep on moving. I think we have 4 couples left, powering through here as we get a big cast, 13 people here. Eric Roberts and Britt are up next. Do we, Brandon, always have 2 older people?
We sometimes, I think the difference with Eric Roberts is that, I think somebody had tweeted, Sarah Seal tweeted me. Sarah Seal, shout out to you. Tweeted me, like, I think Carrie Ann Inaba referred to him as like one of the most famous people that has ever been on the show or something, like one of the most prolific actors that have ever been on the show. He's not like and he has
700.
he has 700 credits, but like, what is he from? Like, if you just show a picture of, I guess everybody has a different thing, but I don't know. I feel like
No, he's
original.
famous. Yeah.
He's famous, but he's like not one of the most famous actors they've ever. I mean, they've had like, whatever. He didn't dance well. I guess the through line of what I'm saying is he's bad at dancing. But he tried his best, which is what you can hope for.
Yeah, I will say that my shock when learning more about Eric Roberts was that he is Emma Roberts' father, and that's how he becomes relevant to me. Thank you very much.
It's so fun to find out who is a Nepo baby.
I would never have known, but also I think I just need to learn more about the Roberts family because I'm clicking over to the Wikipedia page and I'm just like, wait, who? Sister who? What?
Yeah, it's big.
Crazy stuff here. But yeah, another situation just like Reginald earlier, where Eric's gonna do his best and Britt's gonna do her best to make you not see Eric. The thing about this was that Eric moved a lot more than Reginald did and got one score less than Reginald did. He did not get the 6 from Carrie Ann. He got the 5. And thus they finished, I believe, at the bottom of the leaderboard for the entire night. When again, Eric moved more than Reginald. It's crazy, but
I do think that next week will be Eric's final week on the show. I think that in every other simulation of this, you switch out Eric for somebody else that Reginald is probably done next week. But I think it's Eric who's going to be leaving us. I think that, Reginald has like being charming on his side, whereas I don't know if Eric has, maybe, I mean, I'm sure he's super, I shouldn't endorse that. I don't know if he's super charming. I didn't get that. I got that a lot from Reginald. So I think this is his, he'll be dancing to a song from one of his 700 movies next week, and then he will leave us. And I love Britt. Britt married her partner. Or is engaged to her partner from a couple years ago.
So cute. Oh,
Daniel
God.
Durant from Coda, the Oscar-winning film. And they'll probably put Britt on the troupe, and then Britt will be there for the whole season. So, and you know what? For somebody like Eric Roberts, that might be better for Britt. I'm not sure. But this is, I think, the last week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Carrie Ann was, giving him a lot of thanks and respect for being here and whatnot, even though she's like, my score may not be so great. I'm like, I still can't believe one less point for Eric, who moved more. Okay, I'll leave it there.
But that's the hack. Move and then you keep them wanting more, and then somehow they'll score you on that. Versus you move, you miss a few steps, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Because when he came down them steps, he already had missed and was already off base. So I feel bad.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier, he was singing the entire way through as if he was like had a microphone in front of his mouth. And the guys, the Derek and Bruno were like, "Thank you a lot for, you helped with the face, and it was very helpful to have something else to look at as well." Is basically what they were saying to watch him singing along with the entire song. Derek had some analogy about this is like assembling IKEA furniture. You have all the pieces and you're trying to figure it out, but some of the pieces seem like they don't fit. But they're great. They're happy to have him here. It's great to see him. He's got a great smile. So that's that. He gets some 5s and he's pretty stunned. And we'll see. Like Brandon said, probably out next week, if not the week after. Sasha, the star of the show, is here.
Listen, I love Phaedra, but I do not. She's made up allegations about Candy, which is another Real Housewives of Atlanta housewife. Like, she is not great. I want to start with that. Okay. Now, as a character, she's so much fun. She's so messy. She's so ridiculous. I love her. And she's throwing shade constantly all the time. She's like, yeah, I mean, I would have come to support my favorite housewives, but they didn't make it far. Now, girl, if you don't have 10s on a performance, how are you going to do this? Mortician. no, stop this. But again, I think she's great. I'm so excited. This is the reason I'm here. So
Mhm.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Phaedra, who is going to do a performance to "I'm Every Woman," starts off with her bedazzled trader's cloak.
So funny.
Great start there. Of course, if anybody didn't watch The Traders, or if you did or you didn't know, that she's partnered here with Val, the brother of Max, who was a castmate on The Traders with Phaedra. Did not last very long there. Not to spoil Traders results, but I said that part. Did not last very long, but they spent a little bit of time together in there. So Julianne's going to bring up like, which of them do you like better? She makes an analogy to saying that they're like motorcycles. One of them is smooth, one of them is not so smooth. You can guess which one's which. If you've known anything about Max Schmerkovsky.
Just crazy. I love it. I love it. Girl. Oh my
And
God.
she was good. I thought that she doesn't get the highest scores of the night. I think she's right around the middle, but she definitely has potential to be really good. And this is another one. I'm voting for Phaedra. I want Phaedra to go as far as she can in this competition. And I really do. I love Val. I think Val's great. So fully endorsing them.
He's a fan favorite, but I don't know if he should be. That's for another day. Reasons. But
I don't know the reasons.
We'll talk.
Put it in record. I do not know the reasons.
I know. But yeah, so the jokes about the housewives never going far. I think Val pointed out to her that like a housewife has never made it to the finale. I don't know. I guess the Bravo audience doesn't tend to come out for the housewives, or like even Ariana last season making it pretty far. Third place, not bad, but not able to get that win. So that kind of makes me feel like Phaedra could end up in a very similar spot. Like I feel like a fourth place is like a max that I almost feel like she could go. She's obviously got a huge following right now beyond the world of Bravo. A lot of people tuned into the Traders, just won some Emmys. So I feel like she's could have a good following, but her first dance, like Brandon, you were talking about, kind of middle of the pack. She seems like a beginner, as they were talking about, and as we see, she was good, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people out here that are improving a lot each week, and maybe people fall in love with a little bit more from a Dancing with the Stars audience perspective.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And she's so funny. There was an interview of her. She's talking about Delvey, and she's like, she has an ankle monitor on. How far is she going to go? She can't go far. And I think that's the charm that made everybody fall in love with her on the trade. I mean, she's one of the only people on the Traders season 2 that I hadn't heard of. And I was immediately like, oh, this is my favorite person in the world, not knowing the information that Sasha just shared with us. I want to make it clear. There's so many skeletons.
So much.
It's like Halloween. There's so
I
many
know.
on this
they
podcast.
really leaned into the mortician aspect of Phaedra and the attorney of it all.
Girl, what attorney? What case have you won?
It's been years.
Serious.
So,
yeah, and you watch. Matt is now caught up on Real Housewives. Right?
I'm not fully caught up, but like halfway through.
I'm sure you've caught up for Phaedra.
I've seen the early days.
And
that's
enough to know this ain't no. She's a lawyer with the lie in it.
That baby storyline.
Favorite thing when you texted me, Matt, about
it's like what is happening.
I was just texting Matt random lines from the show. Like, literally that's it.
And there was one that I was like, I hadn't gotten to that yet, and you were like, wait, where are you? I'm like, oh, and you're like, oh, it's coming up very soon. I think it was like the next episode I watched.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far Phaedra and Val are able to go, but if the Twitter audience has anything to do with it, she'll be around for at least a little bit. We have some stars to talk about here. I'm going to lead in with my Steven and Riley conversation to just name them the winners. Honestly, Brandon, I think you called your shot earlier for Joey. I'm going to call my shot for Steven. Sasha, I turn to you again to talk a little bit more about the Olympics. I had, a half an eye on the Olympics, and I heard the term pummel horse guy, but like I didn't know what that means. So now I'm meeting this guy for the first time, and I'm delighted.
Yeah, he's great. He did the glasses thing at the gymnastics, so I think that's why he was really fun. Killed it on pommel horse. Again, instant sweetheart, instant fave. We love him.
Love him. I do think also that like the partnership couldn't be better.
Cute.
I mean, they're really like
they're just like
they are all of TikTok is buzzing. All of the TikToks that they have are hundreds of thousands of likes with these two. So I can't wait to see what they do. He also, it's funny with, I think he and Ilona had the same thing where he also kind of gave a little nervous, but they're both really, really good. And I think just you get the jitters out for the first round, and then I think you're cooking. I think he is like he will be very, very, very good. I can see the first 10 of the season going to these two.
Either them or Chandler.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they were adorable together. And, again, production knows what they're doing when they're putting these people together. Riley had a good first season being paired with Harry. Like we were talking about earlier, Harry Jowsey, like they had, this whole thing, this lovers thing that they really leaned into, and it worked for them to go decently far. But this is going to be Riley's breakout season, hands down. She, again, if they don't end up the winners, they will be there on finale night for sure. The audience is going to fall in love with them together, and I would not be surprised to see them raise the mirror ball at the end of it. The judges loved them. I was surprised it was only 7s. I thought, for sure we would have gotten some 8s, and also surprised that they didn't close. I know why Anna is going to close the show, shock value at the end there, but this would have been the number to close the show with.
It did feel like a miss. I think that a miss to throw Anna in the last spot, because Anna, I mean, as it's talked about by Carrie, gasses the room out, kind of gasses the audience out. Like I wanted to see Steven really bad. I didn't know who Anna Delvey was before this. Normally, I feel like I've heard of, true crimey pop culture stuff. Never heard of her. Mm-hmm. Everybody was upset that she was casted. I didn't love it. And then I'm bored by the, it's a natural ending to have even Steven, who I do think is the biggest get of the 2024 fall season, to have him end it. But beyond me, we ended with Espresso.
Don't Stop Me Now is the song that they're going to do a performance to. It's his anthem.
With the Rubik's Cube,
with the Rubik's Cube set, because he can do it in 8.6 seconds, which is wild. But yeah, no, they were so fun. Carrie on saying how light on their feet he is, telling him to point his toes, which I understand a little bit, to go back to their scores, that they were kind of saying, because you're so good, we're going to be harder on you, and we're going to give you a little bit more criticism because, again, you're good. We want you to be perfect, in a couple weeks time. But still, I feel like the scores, I don't know. I was looking for at least 1-8 for them, and we didn't get it. So it's okay. They will get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, definitely looking out for these two going deep into the season. And to close things out, as we were just talking about, Anna Delvey and Ezra Sosa making his debut as a professional on the show. So, Brandon, I'm with you. I did not know Anna Delvey. I would say that I've heard the name.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But again, Sasha, back to you.
This is con artist, extraordinaire. She had these rich ass investment bankers. I don't know the exact venture capitalists. Sorry, I don't know finance, but finance bros basically, to give her all this money, finance her lifestyle so that she could open the next Soho club. And it's nuts because this whole time she was broker than broke, and they just fell for it. And this is how you know that all this finance stuff that happens, I swear to God, it's like horoscopes. It's just vibes. It doesn't matter. You just kind of be like, oh, I like your vibe. I'm going to give you $1 million to start this. So she ends up conning her way into New York socialites. And eventually she's like, well, I know this person. And then this person will be like, oh, well, I trust that person that you know. So then I will do this for you. And that's how she ends up just pyramid scheming it. I don't know. Not really, but a pyramid scheme of social capital. In it way into that. I think she ends up going, I'm pretty sure this is her, to Warren Buffett's thing that everyone gets invited to. All of these rich ass people. Pretty sure Anna went to that. And one of her roommates, actually, this is the best thing. Guess who she hung out with? This is where I know the world is a simulation. Number one, I believe this was her roommate, but don't quote me on it. Billy McFarland. Do you remember his name?
I know the name. Got to help me out more though.
Is that Fire Festival?
Oh, yes. That was, I think, her roommate. And then Remember the farmer bro? I forgot his name already. But the famous one. That's who she hung out with all the time.
This is wild. I mean, not only is her story, how she got here, why she's here in the first place, like
Martin.
Oh, Shekri. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Yes.
They're doing they're doing the promo here with her and the ankle monitor. Look at this picture that we have up here right now. That like this is she needs to wear it, like, of course, like, as part of the promo, like it's staring you right in the face, but just the fact that this is happening, just Dancing with the Stars continuing, they've done this plenty of times before of just trying to make the headline, it's Celebrity Big Brother getting Omarosa, it's not to that extent by any means, but just like looking for the big headline, and that's what they have here in Anna Delvey, and that's why she goes last. Brandon, you mentioned that Ezra, as the newbie, is going to get thrown into the fire with certainly not the winner pick of the bunch here. But, as far as like him being in the public eye because of the fact that he's got a memorable partner, at least he's got that going for him.
Great for him.
The performance,
I
on the
feel
other
so
hand,
sad for him.
I think that this is like, you bring him back next season, you have to now, and you give him somebody who's good. Like, I think that this is like, this really is, and I hate to use the term hazing, but it is like this is your inaugural season. We want to try this experimental headline thing. We'll make it up to you. And
how do they bedazzle the ankle monitor? Like they don't make covers for those, like an Apple Watch cover or something like that. Like, that's not what's going on.
My conspiracy is that is not. I believe the ankle monitor that she wears was taken off, and I think that like, maybe it was taken off for all of an hour to do this.
Yeah.
And maybe they got written permission to do so. I do not think you can do this to a active ankle monitor. I don't know that, but I do assume that this
I would think you're correct.
To bedazzle it feels like not good.
This is wild. So it's just like there's so many different things to talk about right now. Sasha, they dance to Espresso. That is her anthem.
I know she's a liar. Because first of all, what she should have had was something, I feel that it should have been something like about money, like the money, right? That would have been so funny. I
want to be a billionaire. So.
Yeah, like so freaking, yes. Oh my, or thrift shop would have been hilarious. I don't know. I just feel like there could have been so many things, but it's just obvious that she's not game for anything. I can't even believe there's actually a picture of her smiling, because another robot that I couldn't believe was there.
Yeah. And then to be, she's in her exit interview with Julianne. I forget what the exact comment is, but she's like, glad I never have to do that dance again.
Yeah.
That's like the last line we get for the whole night.
I just watched the OC, the first 3 episodes of the OC the other day with a friend of mine. They were fantastic. I'd never seen the OC before. On the OC, Misha Barton is a cast member on the OC who also did this show. And she had a very similar, like, kind of walked through the whole performance. And then in her exit interview with whoever the host was at the time, I assume Erin Andrews, delivers a similar thing where she's like, I don't care. And I just feel like, don't go then. Don't. I know the money is appealing, of course.
Well, this lady needs the damn money.
She needs the money. That I get why you're here, but like, I don't know. And also, like, if she wants to get more money, she has to like win some folks over. I do think that, and I don't think I've ever noticed it in the time that I've watched the show, is after the dance was over, you could hear the room. It was quiet. It was not the room was, and Carrie Ann immediately called it out, which I do appreciate. I thought it was in my head, but it was a silent room.
It was bizarre. Carrie Ann like kind of looks around the whole room and she's like, look, I'm not like, I'm not pro, I'm not for anything that you've done. But like, you are here on the show competing. And I think everybody around here, we need to, not be completely silent when you're here performing. And it's like, well, that's not really up to you. If people don't want to cheer on, somebody like Anna Delvey in the ballroom, that's up to them. And if you got to add in some fake applause on the back end because you cast her on the show, again, that's on you guys. But
it was weird. So funny because Phaedra literally was kicked off the show because she made up a rumor that another cast member assaulted another one. Like,
that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, none of these people that if we're going by that, Anna Delvey only scammed rich people. Like we should be double clapping for this lady.
Yeah, I did, and I don't know enough about the obviously like her story
Yeah.
to make the call, but I did see a lot of tweets that were similar to that. I'm interested. Obviously, there's a Netflix show, Inventing Anna, about her. I would like to watch it. Just because now I'm going to be familiar with Anna Delvey for at least another week, probably just one more week, but still a week might get me through the weekend.
How far is Anna going in this competition? How many weeks?
Next week. I think next week her and Eric.
You think next week?
Yeah. I think no one's voting. I think people are actually really pissed at her.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there a video of Ezra going around being like, I just wanted her to at least like fake being happy. I had to beg her
I mean,
to smile. So if your own partner is doing that, I feel like it's curtains.
the awkward tension between the two of them during that interview with Julianne is so oof.
Yeah.
And did she miss the stairs on purpose? Like, was that part of the routine? Because he looked exasperated.
It was a mess, a
And
mess
that
from
was the
start to
start
finish.
of their
And they
dance.
and production knew that that's what was going to happen. They knew, they saw that performance. They know who this person
Yeah.
is that they cast on the show, and they said, "Let's close the show." Look, I mean, does it not have us talking a little bit? Maybe that's what they're going for.
And
But
I
like,
have the most to talk about them. I feel anyway because
but
I'm
like,
so angry.
come on,
Yeah.
again, I really feel like the Stephen and Riley would have been the ending of the show. Like, I don't know, start with Anna and Ezra and get people talking or something like that if that's what you really got to do. But it was bizarre. Julianne's like, "Oh, this is the first thing you could do since you've been able to travel. So why this?" And she's like, "Why not?" It's like,
Yeah. Because in her mind, she's like, because I need money.
yeah,
That's why. Okay.
$125,000.
And here's my question, everyone. This is a con artist. How is she not personable? Is that how bad these finance people are? That they just gave it to someone? And Derek, right, said, "Oh, you're still being mysterious." And nah. I think that's giving no personality, but maybe that's how people like were drawn to her because they're like, she's giving me nothing, so that must mean she's important, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep sharing. I don't know that it's crazy as hell
Yeah.
that this person conned people.
Yeah,
wild
you
stuff.
have to wonder.
So we'll see how far she goes. It doesn't seem like any of us think that it's going to be that far. I don't know.
I
Like
think she could have
first
leaned
out-
into it, and then people would have been like joked about it, and maybe I think she could have gotten votes
Yeah.
if she like
she had
played it up.
an ounce of
Yeah.
personality. She
Yeah.
could have definitely gotten an ironic audience to vote for her. But
Correct.
at this point, like,
Correct.
how does she not Reginald is probably making it a week in if Anna's not getting the votes. So
Yeah.
good job on Emma. We'll see how that goes. So just to recap the leaderboard here, we do have Chandler and Brandon at the top with 23, Dwight and Daniela with 22, Joey and Jenna, Stephen and Riley with 21. Everyone else kind of in the middle there until you get to the bottom with Tori and Pasha with 17, Reginald and Emma 16, Eric and Britt 15 somehow. Again, below Reginald and Emma. It's okay. Next week, again, is Oscars night. So they will be doing the list of songs. If you want to go see it, it's already up on Wikipedia. They have been doing that in recent seasons. They announce the songs ahead of time so you can get hyped. So if you want to see all that and see what everybody's dancing to, check that out. We had a couple of questions to get to before we get out of here. We're almost done. Lauren was asking us to discuss the ridiculous overscoring. Which, yeah, we've touched on that a bit, but it's just basically the fact that Brandon, they don't want to use those panels that are below a 5 anymore for whatever reason. They don't exist.
Give them to me then. I'll buy them. I like reality TV memorabilia. If you're not going to use your 4, carry on an ABBA. Really, if you're not going to use your 2, give me your 2. I would like to see the 2.
We need Len. Oh, he was the big one. They used to do all of those low scores.
Jessica Frey was asking our thoughts about Eric and Tori both having stories about being asked for season 1 or like every season since. It's weird that it happened twice meme. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there. Again, if we were doing off-season Dancing with the Stars podcast, we would talk about, all the people that haven't been on that you would be surprised haven't been on. It's probably on Brandon's spreadsheet, people that you're expecting to show up.
The only person that I know for sure was Vincent Pastore, who was in The Sopranos, had signed on and was practicing and then got hurt, and then they pulled him out. That was the only. I think Misty May Trainer was in for a different season and then got hurt, and then got hurt on her actual season also. There's been a couple of those. They are, in fact, in the spreadsheet, which if you're interested, just DM me. I'll send it to you. There's 1,000+ names on it.
Wow.
Sasha, Randy wanted to know biggest surprise and biggest disappointment from the night.
Disappointment, Anna Delvey for sure. Like, what the hell, girl? Again, like I said, if I'm like, okay, you've cast a con artist, someone that's, has an ankle bracelet, I think that's so like ridiculous and funny. In that moment, I'm gonna laugh. I was excited, just nothing, a fart in the wind. I don't know if I think surprise wise, I think I have to say Joey.
Yeah, that's
Because
my answer.
I just think that I was like, oh, maybe they'll do the abs or whatever, and we'll move on with our day. No, we got a whole thing.
Yeah.
Dinner and a show.
Yeah, Joey's my biggest surprise as well. Pleasant surprise. I think he's going to go far. Brandon, any pick outside of that couple?
I think Joey was my absolute. And then again, for somebody who didn't know who Chandler was, you figure like the Disney Channel people are always super good. But I was so thrilled to see them. I do think Chandler, Steven, Joey, top 3 is what I would lock that in with absolute confidence tonight.
Disappointment for me. Unfortunately, I feel like Phaedra lands in that category.
Oh yeah, Phaedra's answer was boring.
I don't know. I would have thought, especially with the confidence she has in the
and them donkey booty workouts, girl. What the hell?
But Brandon, anybody else stand out disappointing wise?
I mean, I hope that, like, I love Whitney. I've always liked Whitney. I think that Danny, I just hope, like, I think assuredly that Danny is having fun and he's just not showing it. I just hope that he does get there because, I hate to, Whitney takes a year off, at least make it a couple weeks. And I think that Danny has all of the talent in the world to be able to do that. I just hope that he kind of fixes the, just got to watch Joey do whatever Joey does and just do whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Whitney really got a little screwed. I feel like Joey would have been a good partner for her. But the matchups happened the way that they did. And we'll see. This is going to be a fun season. Even if we are not back every week to cover it, we're still going to have some fun. And I'm sure all of you out there will as well. But again, this is, as of now, the only planned podcast about Dancing with the Stars this season. The first in years to make its way back to the Rob as a Podcast network. I would say, to some extent, we do know Dancing with the Stars. But you guys really do have to let us know and let the comments know and let the powers that be know if you want any more of this throughout the rest of the season, because otherwise, hope you enjoyed this one. But we had some fun today. So hopefully everybody enjoyed. Brandon, what are you going to do with all this expertise if this is it for us?
You couldn't tell, but I held up my 10 panel just then.
Oh, period.
I'll be watching. I'll be tweeting. I'll be, I'll be around. So this has been super fun. Again, this is my literal favorite show that I've never gotten to talk about in front of a microphone before. So I did one other time, but this is the second time that I've talked about it in front of a microphone, and I do love it. So I'm thrilled about it. And shout out Joey. I want Joey to win. I'm gonna low key. I'm endorsing Joey. And that's my final answer.
All right, love it. Brandon, let everybody know where they can find you on social medias.
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Brandon Donlon. The other show that I have an affiliation with, Survivor, a brief one, that just started this past week. So I'll be tweeting. I'll be putting stuff on my Instagram story. Me just yell. A lot of my Instagram story is just me talking for a minute. If this hour and 51 minutes is of interest to you, then you won't believe how much of that happens on my Instagram story. So follow me wherever. I'll be around.
There we go. You and I might have a podcast coming out in a couple of days. Might be a thing that might have happened. If you know another podcast that I have, I do a podcast with Amon Adwin. It's called The Diary Room. We have guests come on and talk through some Big Brother players, and maybe Brandon will pop through there sometime soon. We're trying to find out the best player in Big Brother history. So check out The Diary Room with Amon and I. Also, the Free Agents podcast for some challenge coverage that I'm up to. Big Brother 26 is ongoing, of course. So we got that going on over here with Tran on the We Know Big Brother feed. So all that fun stuff is happening there. Of course, Sasha popping in on that as well. But Sasha, what else you got going on?
Yes. In addition to all that and being here, listen, message Rob. All right. Let Rob know you want us back. But yes, in addition to all of that, Kirsten McKenna and I talk pop culture. If you liked my little random tangents about these people, well, guess what? There's a whole podcast just talking about what's trending, why it's trending, and what these celebrities are up to. So we talked Secret Lives of Mormon Wives last week, and that is on the RHAP as a Podcast YouTube channel. And of course, for everything Mess Magnets related, you can go to messmagnets.com now. I believe we're legit and official. So check that out. If not, RHAP is a website / mess feed. And Mike Bloom and I are talking to your favorite reality TV stars about their scripted shows. So this week we had Hannah Rose to talk everything under the sun.
Wow.
She's so fun, and find out why she applied to Quantico and what happened there. So you need to listen to the podcast on We Know Scripted TV, either on YouTube or where you get your podcast. And yeah, for every and Chappelle and I are still talking below deck. Hello, yes, that's a thing. Still, finale is coming, baby. So that's also still going on the Rob Has a Website, Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel, and on the Below Deck Wrap Up feed. And for everything else I'm doing, just find me on Twitter at funsize_04. Thank you, Matt, for putting this together. You killed
I'm
it.
glad we were able to make it happen again. You know, this is the plan for now. It's just this.
What a great
but it
squad.
was,
What a great troop we are.
yes, it was so fun to get to talk to you guys. So I'm glad that we got at least this, if nothing else. So thank you guys for listening. You know, a longer one as we had all the cast members here today with us. Well, not with us, but you know, out there doing their thing. We'll see who's going to make it through the double elimination next week. If nothing else, we'll be on Twitter tweeting about it. We'll be, I don't know, in the Facebook group, and plenty of stuff going on over here on RHAP. Of course, Survivor just kicked off, so tons of podcasts coming your way for all that stuff. Big Brother still happening, winding down in the next couple of weeks, and everything else going on. So make sure you're subscribed to all the feeds. Check out everything going on over on Patreon, and you know, that's a lot of stuff happening here. So we'll get out of here. Thank you again for checking everything out here. We'll see you on the dance floor.